A role play. I'm going to start out by giving a short talk about what it means to assert yourself. And then we will do a role play. Myself and Steve are going to be doing a role play. And then we will have room for public discussion as to how the role play went. Now, when you're talking about asserting yourself, we're talking about a situation. And what Steve and I are going to do is we're going to have a role play where I'm anticipating that he is, that we're working together in an office, and he's always texting all day long. He's texting. And he has his phone on, so he's constantly getting the noise from his texts. And he has different texts for different people. So sometimes people give him different noises. But it's very irritating that you're working along and all of a sudden, ding! And then you're working along and ding! Whatever it is. So my plan is to assert myself to him that I want him to change the way that he's doing his texting so that it is less intrusive on my personal space. Okay? Now, the first thing that you have to understand when you're going to assert yourself in this kind of a situation is, it's my problem. It's not his problem. He's not having any trouble whatsoever texting his friends and hearing the noise every time his friends text him, and so on and so forth. So it is actually my problem that I'm experiencing. Okay? So that means that he may not even realize that what he's doing is a problem. So that's why I have to present it. I have to state the problem to him. Now, generally speaking, when you have an issue like this, the best thing is to get it done right away. Don't let it fester. Don't let it become, excuse me, don't let it become habit, where it's, well, it's been doing this for 10 years, and why are you all of a sudden coming to me now? You should try to state the problem relatively quickly after you realize that it is a problem. Now, in the process of stating that, you have to do two things. Number one, you cannot assert yourself at his expense. And you have to stay calm. Now what I mean by that is, if I come at him and say, you're an idiot having that phone on all day long, well, end of conversation. You might as well end the conversation there because nothing's going to happen. So what you have to do is you have to assert yourself in a way that is not threatening to the other person. Now, there's a lot of ways that can happen, and a lot of responses that can happen. Now, we all know, no matter how kind and generous and happy and political you are in telling someone that they're wrong, basically, it's very easy for them to feel like it is a affront on themselves. So they may attack you. Well, you have to express your feelings again, be direct, be pleasant, and remain calm. Okay? And finally, as you're moving through this process, another thing that is very good to do, especially if they come back with issues that might or might not be a fact, is to describe the consequences of what they're doing and how the consequences are going to affect them and everyone around them. Again, remain calm and don't be accusing the other person. Try to present it to them in a way that does not bring out anger. Okay, so again, a quick recap. Realize the experience is yours. Present how you realize a problem. Express your feelings. Present a solution and the consequences of it not being that way. Okay, for the second part of my program, I would like to bring up Stephen and let him be the counterpart in this role play.
Justin.
Justin, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
How did I do that? How did I get that wrong?
That's
I don't
all
know
right.
how I got that wrong.
It's just a name.
Okay, it's just a name. Justin. See, I'm already on the bad side because I don't even know your name. Justin. Okay. Justin, I'd like to discuss something with you. I felt a little bit uncomfortable the last couple of days because you've been texting all day long, and the noise from your telephone is interrupting my thought patterns and making it more difficult for me to be able to work. I'm wondering if you could maybe find a way to do something different.
Well, I do keep the volume very low on my phone, and I need to get my text promptly when they come through. Because, you know, my friends and everything, they might have something very important to say to me at that moment, and I wouldn't want to miss that text. It wouldn't be fair to me if I missed a text.
Yes, I can understand that. I can understand that, Justin. I can understand that you want to be in constant communication with your friends and associates. But at the same time, you are in a work environment, and it would be more comfortable for everybody in the work environment if you could find a way to maybe reduce the noise even more. Could you try maybe putting it on vibrate and keeping it closer in your pocket or something where you will feel that instead of having to hear it?
I don't feel things very well, so the vibrate doesn't really work for me. I need to have that audible tone for me to make sure that I get my text on time.
Okay. Well, you know, one of the issues that comes up with this for me, this is my feelings here, because I'm working in the next cubicle right next to you, and every couple of minutes I hear the ding or that fancy funny noise that you have for some of your friends, and that's disrupting my work. And I don't know if it's disrupting other people in the office or not, but if it is, that may cause more issues, especially with the higher management. They need us to get our work done. And if we're constantly being interrupted or our thought patterns being interrupted, it may not be good for the work in general, and it definitely may come back on you. So I'd like to suggest again that you could maybe find another way, get a earplug and put it in there. You know, just have one earplug to make it so it would work right.
Well, maybe just as a favor to you, no one else seems bothered by this, but I'll try the vibrate, just to be more neighborly with you.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Very good. Okay, so now the next portion of this program is to get an evaluation from everyone in the audience. How did you see this going, and do you think that it was realistic? And of course, do you see anything that might have been done more effectively, or possibly even have been, might have been a problem or anything? Any suggestions from the audience?
One thing that I have is, this is a work situation, right?
Yes.
Okay, and he said he's receiving texts from his friends that are
Yes.
important.
Yes.
He's doing it all day.
They're very important.
Very important friends.
All day during work. So you may have somehow addressed that part, that it's his friends and not business associates or,
Right.
or
Right.
clients
Yeah,
or
yes.
I would say that, I work in the sales industry, and I think everything in life for the most part is sales. And I think you touched on it a bit of having to say what's in it for him when you talked about how it could reflect back on his work and eventually affect him. But I thought if you would have hit on a little bit more of how him doing this could benefit him somehow, then he might have been a little bit more quickly to come across and say like, sure, yeah, I'll do that for you because it benefits him.
Okay.
So.
All right. Any other comments on that? Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate everybody's help and input in this particular role play, and I will now invite our Toastmaster back to the lectern. Mr. Toastmaster.
Very well done. And our next speaker for tonight will be redoing her icebreaker speech. And she's a relatively recent addition to the Toastmaster Club, this particular Toastmaster Club. So at this time, we'll have Yu Ying.
No video better.
Oh, okay. It's off.
No video better.
Justin, since you haven't had an opportunity to actually speak, but I've already for a little while. So, Justin, the question I have for you is, would you rather always have to say what's on your mind or never get to speak again?
Thank you. Thank you for that. Fellow Toastmasters, I'm supposed to speak with you about, should I always speak what's on my mind, or would I like to hold back on?
Or never get to speak again? Always have to speak what's on your mind or
Or
never
never
get to
speak
speak
at all,
again?
physically never speak at all. Okay, so to recap that, I'm supposed to speak with you about, I have two alternatives that I can choose from. One is that I'll always speak what's on my mind, I'll always be absolutely frank with you, or I'll lose the ability to speak altogether, which would be a very difficult situation. So if I were going to choose between those, I would choose to always speak what's on my mind. I'd much rather be able to communicate with people, talk through things, even though I might drive them crazy, embarrass myself very often. It would be much better than just living a life of silence and not being able to communicate back and forth with others. I can imagine it would create a lot of conflict very often. It's hard to control your thoughts on things. You can be very frank with things. Maybe at least sometimes I could just not speak rather than speak my mind. Maybe I can just choose to keep my mouth shut and then avoid a little embarrassment that way. So that might be one way that I can work with that situation. So I'll hand it back over for the next table topic. Thank you.
It's a very interesting answer you gave there. I would have to say I would probably give the same answer. I would hate to not have to talk the rest of my life. Then I wouldn't be able to get to do Toastmasters. I may just say rude things for the toast. All right, next I'm going to go with Maurice.
Okay.
Maurice, another would you rather question. Would you rather only be able to whisper or only be able to yell?
Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters, the question that has been posed to me are mutually exclusive choices. Would I rather only whisper, or would I rather only yell? My answer to that, given my personality, between those two, I would rather only whisper. By only be able to whisper, at least I'll be able to communicate with people. I may have to be close up to people and maybe go up to the ear, but me yelling all the time is not a good solution for me as far as communication is concerned. So, the choice between those two, if I had to choose only one, would be to only whisper. Toastmasters.
Thank you. Alright, that was an interesting answer. I would have to say that I would probably yell all the time, because I don't like to whisper. Alright, next I'm going to go with Maurice. I'm sorry, Lawrence, excuse me. Lawrence.
We're
I
all
just
over
did
that
Maurice.
time. Yeah,
we're all
okay.
on tonight.
That's all.
Lawrence. Making you feel better. Lawrence, if you could instill one piece of advice into a newborn's mind, what would it be?
Mr. Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters, if I had the opportunity to put anything into a newborn's mind, or for that matter, in anybody's mind, I think that the one thing I would tell them is to always be a child. Always find the wonder in everything. The beauty, the excitement of something new all the time. Have insatiable curiosities. Look for the garish things. Look for the things that are different and exciting. And really experience those things. Because that's what babies do. Everything they see is so exciting. Everything that they're so easy to find joy, so easy to find happiness in everything. And they're always experiencing new things. And if you want to live a really good life, stay a baby, Mr. Topic Master.
Very well said, very well said. Thank you, Lawrence. Alright, Ying, you want a table topic? Okay. When was the last time you tried something new?
Fellow Toastmasters, at this time we will go into our evaluation period, and our general evaluator for tonight is Justin.
Okay. Bear with me, I'm winging this a bit. I can get all the way through my points here. I learn to time manage this better. Okay, so the meeting for tonight, it did start on time. There were 2 recesses of 5 minutes each. We didn't have any guests this evening to welcome or to introduce. The transitions between speeches were a little awkward at times. I can say me coming up here was perhaps a bit awkward, and this tonight was a little impromptu in how we managed the meeting. But we did have a meeting, and we persevered on that, so that's great. Stephen did some great segues and did handle the table topics very well, and did manage that part of the presentation well. And with that, I will hand it over to the first evaluator.
As first evaluator, I evaluated Lawrence's speech, and his speech came out of the interpersonal communication booklet, and it was project number 5, asserting yourself effectively. And the objectives of that project is enjoy the mental and physical benefits of being assertive, employ the 4-step method of addressing a problem and asking for help, and overcome resistance to your requests. So the evaluation questions start at number 1. How well did the speaker explain how to express dissatisfaction effectively? He effectively expresses dissatisfaction and tactfully express proposed solution to the problem. And as he explained during the first part, he could have said, "Turn off your phone, you idiot." But as he said, that would have ended the conversation on a bad note, and no change was likely to take place in the texter's, the person receiving the text, his actions. How effectively did the speaker follow the four-step method when addressing the problem? Very effectively. He went through the four-step process effectively to address the annoyance. And those 4 steps were to state the problem. You're constantly receiving texts all day during work. Tell your feelings. He told his feelings that they were very annoying to him, especially in a work environment when there are things that other people need to get done. Specify a solution. He proposed several solutions which the other person, he wasn't agreeable to every solution, but he found the speaker found a solution that the other person was agreeable to. Describe the consequences. The consequences were annoying not only the speaker, but other people, even though the other person said it wasn't bothering other people. So, okay, next question, did the speaker clearly state the problem and the remedy? Yes. If you were the other person, would you want to fulfill the speaker's request? I said yes, and the other person, I think, during the presentation agreed to comply to the speaker's request. How did the speaker overcome the resistance? By tactfully requesting the other person and convincing him to use alternative methods of receiving his text. And he did give more than 1 or more than 2 alternative methods for him to receive his text. So that is the evaluation for the first speech evaluator.
It's you again.
Oh, me again, yes. I didn't realize I was being introduced.
Yeah.
So
You could introduce.
Sorry.
So this is
Correct. Okay.
your
Here's the
evaluator.
Yes.
Fellow Toastmasters, I have a evaluation of Ewing's speech about her experiences growing up and moving to the United States and her professional life. This is her icebreaker speech, her second pass at the icebreaker speech. As far as strong points regarding the speech, the part about helping children was very powerful, and especially the part about talking about your daughter and the reasons for her to stay in the USA. And I found that part very strong, even a bit emotionally moving. How well did the audience get to know the speaker? I think well. The speech, I think, began a bit weak, talking about your professional progression, but then when you got more into talking about your daughter and your situation in the United States, it became much more powerful. Did the speech reflect adequate preparation? It did. Did the speaker speak clearly and audibly? Yes, although English is not your first language, I understood everything that was being spoken and it was clear. I think you could work on aspects of your delivery and inflection, maybe speak a bit louder, but it was clear what you were saying and everything was understood. Did the speech have a definite opening, body, and conclusion? I didn't think the transitions between those were very strong, or very clear. I thought that the body, especially the second half of the body, was very powerful, but I think it could have had a more clear opening and conclusion. Regarding use of notes, I did not notice you using any visual aids during your speech at all. What could the speaker have done differently to improve the speech? I think that talking a bit more about your family, maybe the reasons for coming to the United States, maybe the conflict you might have felt in leaving your home country would be maybe other powerful topics that could have enhanced the first half of the body. What did I like about the presentation? I really liked the part about your daughter and the reasons for wanting to stay here in the United States and wanting to help contribute and make this a better place. So overall, I was really enjoyed your speech.
Okay, Thomas report.
No, you're still the,
Oh,
you still have to go through the timer and the grammarians.
so I introduced the timer, right?
Yes, you have to, you get the evaluation from the timer and the grammarian, and then you
Stephen,
present
may
it
I have
back
the
to.
timer evaluation, please?
Yes. For Lawrence's speech, you were in the perfect time frame on all of them. The first one you were at 5:31, so I guess that one was a little bit over. The second one was 3:05, and the third one was exactly 2 minutes, the third part. So overall, you were within the 15-minute time frame. And everybody, as far as table topics go, were right on time. Everybody had just enough time. It was perfect. Yu Ying, you were 6:24, so that was very good. Justin, have not been keeping time of this part. I've been doing the grammar. I forgot about it, honestly, but it seems to be in good time. As far as grammarian goes, Lawrence, during your speech, you had 2 ahs, 6 double words, and the filler word okay. You used that 5 times. You used the word of the day once. So very good on that. Maurice, you had 1 ah, 1 double word, and 1 filler word. Yu Ying, you had 3 ahs, a double, and 0 filler words. Justin, you had 13 ahs and 1 double. And I've heard myself say ah about 10 times. So as for the grammarian report, that's about it.
So if we've got the grammarian, if we've got the timing, I'm done here, right?
Yes.
So, Mr. Toastmaster, would you like to take the lectern from here?
Yes, I'll take it.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time,
We don't have anything for next week.
okay, good. Okay, I'll turn it back over to the president. Okay, and it's 7:58. No educational overview. I will try to remember to send out at least 2 emails to everyone.
Or combine them.
Yes, or combine them, yes. And if there's nothing else, we'll adjourn the meeting.
So we meet next year, right?
Yeah, we meet next week.
Next week.
Oh,
Next week.
Next week.
But the week after that, we don't meet.
Oh.
And then we meet again.
What about
New Year.
January?
Yeah, we should,
First.
that's gonna be what, January 2nd?
Yes, January 2nd.
January 2nd, yes. I'll be out of town that day, so.
Right, so,
Yeah, we could just call that one too.
okay,
And
okay.
meet again on whatever it is.
That's
So you
the
might
9th.
send out send that out in this letter also.
Okay,
That we will,
so we have
January
3 weeks.
2nd,
3
so
weeks
we won't
break
meet
from
again till
Toastmasters.
January. We'll meet next week,
Yeah, next week,
but
yeah.
then not again until January 9th.
Right,
Okay, so we're together
So
on the 19th.
2-week
Mhm.
hiatus
Okay.
yes.
to get over our rivalry.